Well, it's Monday and I am back in my office today. Actually, it's the end of my day. I am so happy to say that today I had what I would call a fairly unscripted day, kind of unexpectedly. I started my day with a run in the park, which is a great way to start my day. And then I just had a meeting with someone who's going to become a new social work supervisee toward their license, which I always love that. And so, but in between those things, I had time to just kind of go through things that were on kind of a random to-do list and get some stuff done toward my teaching work. And it was all very productive and good. I am someone who tends to be obsessive, or maybe once I latch onto an idea, I don't really let it go very easily, at least in some ways. And so, I had this idea that on Mondays I would talk about, my thoughts as it relates to being self-employed, because I know so many working women out there now who are self-employed, and it's just something that is kind of a unique situation for those of us who are doing it. So I actually have had a lot of thoughts around my work this past week. I got back from that yoga retreat led by Karina Pivic, and I guess that was Monday night, and I was super busy last week after that. But one thing that really stuck with me when I left there was that I really wanted to put together my own retreat. Actually, I would like to partner with Karina if we can make that work, because that was such a great setting for the kind of mind-body skills groups that I do. So I'm working on putting together an idea for that. And so, what's been on my mind, obviously that's been churning around my mind. But what's really been on my mind is the idea of fear of moving forward with new ideas. I think that's something that is an issue for a lot of people who are, really for a lot of people in general, but certainly for those who are self-employed or starting a business or who own a business. I'm going to adjust my little screen here. I have found in the last few years that I had several ideas for my work that I think were really good ideas, that I just, for one reason or the other, just couldn't find the internal resolve to move forward on. It was either, I had too much going on with obviously the grief and my divorce, or it was, this or that or the other thing that I couldn't get kind of moving forward on some of those ideas, some of which I thought were really good and really in line with my strengths, I think. But each of those represented kind of a step in an unknown direction. And the work that I do in my private practice, as I've said, it's certainly a risk to go out and say I'm going to be 100% self-employed. I'm not going to have any kind of salaried position anymore. But the work that I've been doing in my role here is stuff that I've been doing for a long, long time. It's nothing is ever a sure thing when you're self-employed, but it's kind of something that I've been doing long enough to know that I could make a living at it if I tried hard enough. It's what I would consider things that are in my comfort zone, for the most part. What was not in my comfort zone, really, was saying I'm going to do this 100% without any safety net. But the work itself was stuff I've been doing a long time. So what I've been trying to figure out a way to do is how to move forward to doing things that really do feel more in line with what I want to be doing from here on out. But going in those directions is a different kind of risk. I was talking with a colleague the other day who had an accomplishment in their career, but it took this, kind of taking a risk and taking a test, basically a big exam. And he was telling me he didn't tell anybody he was going to take this exam because he didn't want, if he didn't pass it, he didn't want to have the situation where he had to explain to people that he didn't succeed with that. And I'm paraphrasing. And I think a lot of people can relate to that. I certainly can relate to that. It's scary to me to say out loud that I want to put together a mind-body skills retreat that's out of town, that requires a whole lot of logistics and requires people to say yes. The whole reason I'm doing these videos is not because I actually think people are going to watch them. And it's not because I want, I feel like I have some like mind shattering thing to say. It's not that at all. It's that I'm trying to get myself out of the rut of being in a comfort zone. This is making me practice my own mind body skills. It's making me continue to develop the ones that I use in my practice. And it's making me do something that's uncomfortable. Sitting here on camera is uncomfortable in a way that's different from being on camera when I do an online class or online therapy or getting in front of a group of students in a classroom. It's different. So I'm trying to force myself to do things that are outside of my comfort zone. Yesterday I was talking about my family's absolute adoration for the Fab Five in the new Queer Eye iteration, and one of those Fab Five members is named Karamo, and he has the role on that show that's a little bit less easy to define. He is the personal growth cast member. He is the one that helps people tap into what is holding them back from what they want to be doing, to help them kind of break through barriers to get where they want to be, to help them talk about things they don't want to talk about. I don't think he's a credentialed therapist. I need to look and see what his background is, but he's so gifted at that. And whereas the other guys on the show, Tan is, his role is obvious. He's the clothing guy, or Jonathan's the grooming guy. Karamo has a lot of great things to say, and one of the things he said recently in an episode that I wrote down, it's so simple, and people have said it a million different ways, but I liked it. What he said, failure is simply a part of success. And obviously, we all know that's true. But it's so important to remind ourselves. Like when I think about doing something new, I am really afraid of that new thing failing, especially in public. If I'm going to advertise this thing, what if no one comes? What if it doesn't go anywhere? What if I have to then say, oops, no, it didn't happen, but because ... Failure is scary, but failure, I think, by all parameters, in order to succeed, you have to have some failure, and it's a part of succeeding. And so I like that statement that Karamo said. I wrote it down as one of those affirmations that I like, that I was talking about yesterday, that failure is simply a part of success. So that's the mindset. That's what's on my mind today. I'm going to force myself to keep moving forward on this idea because, again, there have been other ideas that I have let myself slide on, and I don't want to keep doing that. Because I want to continue to grow. I don't want to do the same thing for the next 20 years. I want to do some new things that are exciting to me. So that's what's on my mind. And so the song that I'm going to add to my playlist is kind of part and parcel to this. When we were on the yoga retreat that Karina put together, we had kind of a theme song that we called it. And it is by an artist named Andy Bay. Bay spelled B-E-Y, kind of like the beginning of Beyonce. Andy Bay is a blues jazz artist who has been around a long time. And I didn't know this. I had never heard his name. I Googled him to read about him. He has a very interesting background and an interesting story. And so he comes to his music and his songwriting from a place that's really unique. And I'll just kind of leave it at that. But he's really an interesting guy. And he had a song that was published a long time ago called Celestial Blues. And there's a house artist by the name of The Avener. I hope I'm pronouncing that properly. He remixed Celestial Blues by Andy Bay. And it's super funky now, and got a house beat, but it's basically like spoken word set to house music, and it's really a great, fun, uplifting song, and it's all about meditation and contemplation and your place in the universe and how it helps you to find kind of your inner divine to meditate. So that was our theme song. Unofficially for our trip, and so because I want to go back there, and because that time with Karina and the other women I was there with was so special, I'm going to add that to my playlist today. So Andy Bay's Celestial Blues as remixed by the Avenue. So that will be on my playlists. And actually, I'm going to go back to I'm going to go back to doing some meditations, some mind body skills. I have been doing them, but a lot of them have been, journal prompts and affirmations. But because I'm actually talking about doing another mind body skills group, the very foundation of the model that I use, which is started by the Center for Mind Body Medicine, which does these trainings all over the country and all over the world. You can actually check them out, cmbm.org, to see the work that they do. It's pretty special. Their foundational exercise is soft belly. And so in honor of trying to put together some new mind body skills work in my world, I'm going to do a soft belly meditation today. And if you want to follow along, you can turn the computer around. You don't have to watch. You can just listen to my voice. And I'm going to guide myself as much as I can on these videos in a little soft belly exercise. So, as with all of these, it's best to ground yourself. So to feel the chair underneath your body holding you up, the ground underneath your feet if you're sitting down and your feet are making contact with the floor. And it's really, this exercise can be done laying down, but I think it's most powerful actually when you're sitting up. And so, but certainly with your back as straight as you can make it so that you can use your full lung capacity, because the purpose of this exercise is just to bring a little bit of peace and relaxation to the few minutes that one takes to do this exercise. And so grounding your feet, unclench your fingers. If they are clenched, let them lay loosely in your lap or at your sides, whatever feels right to you. And again, I encourage, if somebody's going to do this with me in this video, I encourage you to close your eyes and just listen to my voice. I always find that it's easier to drop into my body when my eyes are closed, but if that gives you a sense of discomfort, you can just simply rest your gaze at the tip of your nose or at the floor in front of you. But I will just say, for the sake of saying it, to close your eyes. And just start to bring your attention to your breath. There are certainly going to be sounds in your environment. There are going to be thoughts that cross your mind as you sit here for these few minutes, and all of those things are things that are just a part of what we experience when we meditate. And so anytime you feel yourself drifting, just return your awareness to your breath and just start to feel a focus on the air as it enters your body. Ideally, you're going to breathe in through your nose, out through your mouth. Notice the feeling of the air as it enters your nose. Maybe it's cool air. Feel it as it goes down your throat, and hopefully deep into your lungs. And then feel the air, what it feels like as it leaves your body when you exhale. It should be a little bit warmer. You're getting rid of things from your body that it doesn't need. Inhale through your nose, exhale through your mouth. And what we want to do in this exercise is really use as much of your lungs' potential as you can. When we go about our day, when we're stressed out and we're tense, we're only using 2/3, sometimes a half of our lung capacity because we're staying or keeping our breath at the top. We want to bring our air all the way down to the bottom of your lungs to stimulate that relaxation response. So inhale through your nose, exhale through your mouth. Using all of your lungs capacity. Think of your lungs as a balloon that you're trying to fill all the way to the bottom. Inhale through your nose. Exhale. Like I said, as those thoughts come about things that you need to do or things that are happening, just envision sticking those thoughts on a shelf next to you, or putting them on some roller skates and sending them on their way, whatever visual helps you think about it, and just return your focus to your breath. Those thoughts can wait. This exercise is called soft belly because we're trying to focus on relaxing your core, what we're calling your belly, your diaphragm, the muscles and that part of your body that often stays tense, especially when you're having a busy day and life is coming at you. What we're going to do in these few minutes is focus on making that part of your body just a tiny bit softer with every exhale. Inhale through your nose. Exhale through your mouth. And with every exhale, you want your belly to feel the tiniest bit more relaxed, the tiniest bit softer every time you exhale. It may help to visualize that part of your body as a soft object, like cotton balls or a blanket or just some liquid. It might also help to visualize just kind of melting into the back of your chair or into your core. With every exhale, visualize that part of your body getting just a tiny bit softer. To add to this effect, you might want to use the words soft when you inhale and belly when you exhale. If you're alone in your room, you can say those words out loud. Inhale soft, exhale belly. But this exercise is so beautiful in its simplicity, you can do it literally anywhere. And you can say those words to yourself silently. Inhale soft, exhale belly. And just use the power of your breath and those words to soften that one part of your body in those few minutes that will help you bring about a sense of peace and calm. If you do this a couple times a day, 3 times a day, for 3 minutes, 4 minutes, 5 minutes, you'll find that you are, over time, much more easy to relax and to get, what we would say, get a grip whenever you're feeling really anxious. You can bring your body into a place that feels more grounded and peaceful, even when things around you are not that way. So that's a soft belly meditation, at least a really brief snippet of one. And I hope that the rest of your week, if anybody's watching this, is calm and centered. And I am going to keep working on my goals to bring about calm and center and sustenance.